All right, a quick pros and cons video on the Jaguar F Pace, the 2022 model. I've already done a full in-depth review on this vehicle, so check that out if you haven't done so already. This is meant to serve as a quick buyer's guide for people who don't want to sit through a 20-minute long review. All right, let's get started. The first pro of this, I love the looks of the exterior and the interior. This thing actually surprisingly gets a lot of looks, a lot of stares, because it has a pretty exotic look to it. Dare I say, almost reminds me of a Lamborghini Urus, especially with these 22-inch wheels. That's the type of swagger that this exudes. And I don't know, there's just something exotic about it compared to the BMW X3, the Q5, and the GLC Benz. I couldn't really appreciate it in the photos, but it wasn't until I got this in person as a test vehicle when I started to like the exterior looks. Obviously, these 22-inch wheels, totally absurd, ruins the ride quality, and also costs between $3,000 to $4,000. Upgrade the engine instead of paying up for those wheels. The other major pro is going to be with this interior space. I really thought that this interior would be junk because that's what the F-Type was, the two-door coupe that they make. Really didn't like that interior space. I've always liked the Land Rover / Range Rover interior spaces, and that's exactly what this mimics. It has that exact same quality. This Windsor interior, definitely worth paying up for with the quilted leather. Very comfortable, amazing to look at, really elevates the quality of this space for sure. So this now has the same identical interior quality, feel, and presence that the Land Rover / Range Rover products have. So that's going to be the first few pros. The major con that I have with this vehicle is going to be with this 8-speed transmission. Very slow to react. It's by far the slowest compared to all the European vehicles, definitely compared to the BMW, which has the best ZF 8-speed transmission performance. And also there's going to be the Porsche Macan. Also on the upper tier, upper echelon within this price category, a Macan S is going to cost you around 75 grand when I spec'd one out. Something to keep in mind. That's also around what the P400 version of this vehicle will cost. That's the exact same engine I tried in the Land Rover Defender. I really like that engine. It feels great, it sounds good, but I would rather spend that money on the Porsche because it's going to have better residual values compared to this. The engine is also not very quick. This does 0 to 60 in around 6.9 seconds, which is okay because around town it's really good. I like the speed around town. It feels pretty healthy, but once you get out of the highway, then it's not very happy. When you floor it, when you peg it, it loses steam quick. So just keep that in mind. Even in terms of its stability, it's not too happy doing anything past 85 miles an hour. So stick it in the right lane, do 75 miles an hour, and you'll be really happy with it. And probably the biggest con of all is going to be the JLR reliability track record, which is piss poor. Even in this vehicle, which only has about 1,500 miles on it, I'm already experiencing all sorts of little quirks and kinks and issues. The passenger seat, I can't even move it forward and backwards. That mechanism is broken. There's that. With less than 1,500 miles on it, or around 1,500 miles on it, I can move the seat up and down, and I can also play with the recline feature, but I can't move it forward and back. No idea. Also, I tried to back this thing into my driveway, and it just started glitching on me. It wouldn't let me go into reverse. So dumb little issues like that can be a massive nuisance when you live with it on a day-to-day basis. Yeah, I preach warranties all the time, and sure, you can get a warranty on this, and you should, and you must. However, that doesn't really stop you from dealing with all the crappy little issues on a day-to-day basis. With the BMW, an Audi, and a Benz, they're just expensive to keep up with in the long term. The maintenance just costs a lot on them, but they're not really unreliable for the most part. Like, they'll start and they'll stop when you need them to. All the electronic functions are going to work in a BMW. I'm not really too concerned about that. Those types of vehicles, it's not going to be a nuisance living with that on a day-to-day basis. But this, the Range Rovers, it can really make you look foolish when you're at like a restaurant and the thing doesn't go into reverse. Like, that's pretty embarrassing. So that is probably my biggest con with these Jaguars. But going back to the pros, I do really like the Meridian surround sound system. Definitely pay the extra $800 for that. It does sound amazing. All the switch gear, everything you interact with does feel good. But two cons involving the interior space. There's one little creak / rattle coming from this A-pillar on my driver's side. Kind of annoying. Maybe the dealership can fix that. Just want to let you know about it, again, with 1,500 miles. The rear seat space, pretty pathetic for a vehicle of this size. But that being said, all the vehicles in this class have pretty pathetic legroom in the back. The BMW X3, the Q5, it all kind of sucks. I mean, you could fit adults back there. I'm 5'11". I mean, I can fit, but you're not stretching out back there like it's a Maybach. And keep in mind, I sit rather close to the steering wheel compared to most people my size. So I'm offering the rear occupants a liberal amount of space, and it's still not that amazing. So imagine 6 feet tall people. Yeah, it's really going to suck for people sitting back there. Trunk space is okay, that's not a problem. There's a spare back there. This infotainment system, for the most part, is a pro. I like interacting with it. I like the simplistic design of it. This 11.4-inch screen reacts decently. Some people have complained about some glitches and some issues. I'm not surprised. I haven't personally ran into that. Testing out a couple of these Pivi Pro systems in Land Rover and Jaguar products hasn't really been an issue for me. You just need to get used to it. It's not super ergonomic to use, that's the only thing, but you do have the wireless Apple CarPlay and the Android Auto, reacts fine. So I like that for the most part. And it's clean. I like how it's not stuck up on here on the top of the dash, so that's cool. And I've always liked the climate control features. The way they do that, it's very simplistic, very elegant. You have these dials that you can twist and pull and push in. That's cool. Fuel economy is neither a pro or a con. It's rated to get 22 in the city and 27 on the highway. I don't quite meet those numbers, but I get 20 in the city and I've got 26 on the highway. So it's close, but not quite there. It's just average for a vehicle of this size and weight and performance. So it's neither a pro or a con. It's nothing amazing. But another pro is going to be with the handling and the ride quality. This handles genuinely well for what this is. It remains neutral at all times when you're taking left-hand turns, right-hand turns, even a little bit more aggressively. The occupants in here, they're not being flipped over and flopped over. It's a non-fatiguing driving experience. You can do long journeys in this. That's not a problem. Ride quality is good, and I know it's good because this has 22-inch wheels, and it feels jittery over the small bumps, but 95% of the time, even with these crazy wheels, it actually rides pretty good. So you can imagine with the 19-inch wheels, it would ride amazing. Don't get me wrong. I mean, yeah, it's very jittery over the smaller bumps with these 22-inch wheels. That's not a good thing, but I can tell it's a wheel size thing and not necessarily a suspension thing. They've tuned the suspension extremely well. Just get the smaller wheels and it'll complement this vehicle extremely well, and you're saving a boatload of money by just going with the basic 19-inch wheels. So that's something to keep in mind as well. Can I recommend this vehicle to people? I mean, yeah, I've enjoyed driving it. It's just, if you can put up with the issues and if you love Jaguar, go for it. Lease it, have fun with it, get the 335 horsepower model if you can. That would be pretty ideal, and you get the smoother inline-6 engine. But like I said in my full review, I personally would rather go the Japanese car route. In this price category, I would rather get like the Acura RDX, ES300H, Lexus. I know that's a sedan, but that car is so amazing. There's also the RX 350 Lexus and also the Acura MDX for around 60 grand. Those should be pretty epic as well. Keep that in mind. In my opinion, if I'm going to buy a European car, I'm going to be spending at least $75,000 to $100,000. That's where you get the truly fantastic European cars, like the GLE 450 Benz, like the Porsche Macan S, and you can buy them with some good options. Those are well-spec'd models for those prices of around 75 grand. Keep that in mind. So that's it for this video. Thanks again for watching. Take care and goodbye.